Many times in Scripture, God is portrayed as a provider and a protector. In fact, I have a passage this week from Psalm 84 that is going to use that same imagery. That part isn't under debate. God provides and God protects, but here's the thing. God does those two things in a very certain way. And if we don't understand how God provides and how God protects, then we're going to be disappointed because our expectations are not going to match the reality. But it's the reality that we actually need. And so this week, that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about how God does what he does in our lives, what we can expect from him, and why it's the best plan. The sermon is called Pondering God's Provision and Protection. Again, that's from Psalm 84. If you want to go read ahead and see if you can figure out what I'm going to say. In Bible study, we are in Acts chapter 12 this week, and that's the story of Peter, who has been arrested for his faith and how he gets out of prison, and then a story about King Herod and a bad decision he makes. Those two stories might seem very dissimilar, but yet they share a common theme, and they share some common teaching, and they share some really practical observations about how we ought to be living and how we ought to see ourselves. And so I'm going to encourage you to read ahead in Acts chapter 12 and make some notes. Come and share those ideas and those observations with us. Bring some note paper and a pen and write down some things. I think Bible study is always way better when we're prepared ahead of time. It doesn't work quite as well when it's just cold turkey, here's something, say something about it. It works so much better if you get a little bit of a chance to ponder it and think about it. So Acts chapter 12, that's what I'm going to encourage you to read. This is the last weekend for our soup and sandwich lunches, but it's not our last lunch yet. We're going to have a hot potluck the first Sunday in April, so those opportunities are winding down, but throughout the summer we'll have potlucks, we'll have wiener roasts, we'll have get-togethers and all sorts of things. But our noon lunches are winding down. A couple last opportunities to share a meal together and get to visit with people. Why don't you plan to stay for that too? It's going to be great. We'll see you Sunday.